Hello, this is Keith. I am here today to talk about creating accessible Word documents, making sure you are following all the ADA requirements for government documents to be accessible. Um, so um, we've got some pretty good resources here on the college. The first thing that I want to show you is this great web page that the e-learning department created in conjunction with the Disability Resource Center. And how to find it is by searching the Bellevue College website for Word accessibility and then clicking on the Create Accessible Documents, Word and PDFs link for to bring up that page. So I'm going to do that real quick here. I'm going to switch over to, that's the page right there. So I'm going to go to the Bellevue College website. And right in the search right here, I'm going to type Word accessibility and hit return and enter. And then it'll be the one that's called Creating Accessible Documents, Word and PDFs. And this is a great little checklist that this is the one that eLearning and DRC put together. And we're going to run through this real quick to kind of as the basis of this presentation. Okay, so when looking at this page here, let me zoom in a little bit more, then we can kind of just get an overview. I really like this video right here. That is it's a 3-minute video of a screen reader going through accessible and inaccessible Word documents. So a screen reader is software that sight impaired people use to speak the text on the computer screen out loud to them. And so that helps, of course, sight impaired people because you know, they can't see very well, or some can't see at all. That it's how they interface with the computers through the voice, the spoken voice. So screen reader software it's software that speaks in a computer voice to the computer user. Anyway, I think I really recommend that movie, that little video. It will give you an idea of why you need to make your Word documents accessible to sight impaired people. Okay, so here's the meat of the presentation right here, and it's right there, and I've got it also in my document here. So we've got this little checklist that you can use while you're composing and writing your Word documents, or at least when you're finished and before you publish your document. You should go through this checklist. And so I'm going to start at the beginning here. And the main thing you want to do for accessibility is to structure your document in sort of an outline format using the heading styles in Word. So let me show you an example of something, of a syllabus of mine. This is a syllabus from my BTS 161 class. It is from a couple of years back, before I was as practiced at accessibility as I am now. So actually I've done a pretty good job, I think, at this. So let me show you what I mean by that. So in the Home tab, there are the styles in Word, and I want you to notice that the heading 1, heading 2 is over here for some reason, heading 3, heading 4, heading 5. These are the headings that we're talking about that will help structure your document in an outline format, so that people using screen reader software can go into heading mode and browse quickly through a document. You might notice that my syllabus is 15 pages long. So if a sight impaired person had to get to 15 by listening to pages 1 through 14, it would not be a very efficient way to get through the document. To browse, it would not essentially be able to browse. So using the headings is going to help us do that. So something that's really useful here is to go to the View tab, and in the Show group right here, click on the Navigation pane checkbox, and you'll get this pane over here on the right. And this will show you, if you're in the headings, as long as you're, I think maybe by default it comes up under Pages, but if you go to Headings right here, this should show you the overall heading structure of the document. And one of the cool things you can do here is use the little triangles to collapse the sub levels of the document. So if you go to just the top level headings, you should pretty much get the main structure of the largest scale structure of your document. And then you can click on any of those, and it will take you to that page. So the important links is actually on page 13. The division statements is actually on page 11, etc. So how do you do this? Well, I'm going to go back to the beginning of the document, and so any text that I want to be a heading, I should just click in that anywhere in that that line of text, and then select that heading. So now this text right here is styled with the heading 2 format, and notice how it's now indented, right? Heading 2 gets indented just like an outline. Notice that right there. So you'll want to, so the place and time then should be a heading 2. If I click here, you'll see it's a heading 2. The course component descriptions, that is actually, or the discussions under that are heading 3s, right? So this is using these headings here is how you can tell a screen reader software to the large scale navigation or the organization of your document, which would allow the user to navigate quickly through your document. So that is the main thing that you can do. If you can get used to thinking about your documents in this outline structure, then that's probably the single biggest thing that you can do to make your documents accessible to sight impaired computer readers. Okay, so let's go on to the next thing in the checklist then, which is do not skip numbers. For example, don't jump from heading 1 to heading 3. So again, when you're creating the structure of your document, this is the notice course information is a heading 1, place and time, which is the next heading underneath it, is a heading 2. Course description is also a heading 2, but we don't go from a heading 1 to a, say, heading 3. You wouldn't go from a heading 1 directly to a heading 3, okay? So that will confuse your readers, and so you want to make sure you're thinking kind of hierarchically like this, okay? Then next thing, use the built-in list options. That is when you need to communicate things that in a list, when you need to organize your data in a list, your information in a list, such as this reaching me part of my syllabus. These are different ways that students can reach me, and I want to, instead of using, let's say I have another way, Skype or something. If I have it, if I don't want to type, say, like an asterisk, although I think if you do an asterisk, Word will do it, and space, as soon as you do that, notice you get the bullet there. So you can use that to your favor if that's what you want, or if you do a hyphen or something, you'll get the same thing. Word is going to automatically make that into a bulleted item. So use that. This is what you want to do. Now here's my Skype address. Whatever it is, Keith Rowley at Bellevue. right? So so I'm trying to do that, Colin. There we go. Okay, and of course we would want the bullets to be the same for all of them. So you can, if you want to customize your bullets, you click on the arrow here, and then pick the bullet that you want. Okay. Um, so doing something like that can really help screen readers know how to read lists to their computer users, to their sight impaired computer users. So the next thing is alt text for images. That means that if you have a picture in your document, since pictures are not text, what that you can type on your keyboard, screen readers read text that you type on your keyboard just fine, but a picture is not text, so a screen reader won't know what the content of the picture is. So we have this function called alt text that is attached to the picture that tells the screen reader what the content of the picture, what does the picture look like, why is it there, And how do you do that? Well, you right click on the picture, and in the contextual menu, go down to Format Picture at the bottom here, and then go to this little, I'm not sure what that little, Layout and Properties thing, and then click on Alt Text. And this picture does have alt text. It's called the Microsoft Office 2013 Splash Screen. And that should be enough for users to know, okay, this is kind of up here at the top of the document. It's, this class is about Microsoft Office. So it would make sense that, the splash screen, which is the little window that comes up when you open a Microsoft Office program, that would make sense that picture would be there. I think since I've done this, though, this was a couple of years ago again, I have completely removed that picture, and I've completely removed this table, in fact, here at the top as well. And we'll get into that shortly, why I did that. So the next thing we want to do is to identify the document language, and that will help make sure that your screen reader is, of course, reading in the correct language, not Spanish or Chinese or whatever, or could be Spanish or Chinese. But you do that under the Review tab up here, the language group, the language button, and then set proofing language. Think of this as the proofing is say like the spell checker, and the spell checker, of course, will look for words in English or in Spanish, depending on the language of the document, right? So the proofing language is the language that we want to set, and you want to make sure that matches the content of your document. If your document is in English, make sure this is in English. If it's in Arabic, make sure you select Arabic here, etc. Okay. Then here we go, the tables. The rule here is to define table headers and simplify tables as much as possible. The number one idea here is to think about the purpose of a table. A table is, here's a table right here. It is a 1 row, 2 column table. Here's one row on this side. Here's another row over here. Here's one row, 2 columns. Here's the left column, the right column. You should only use tables for tabular data. Screen readers, tables can confuse screen readers and confuse, therefore, their computer user by they don't know, the screen reader won't know which order to read the contents of the table. So so this is why I've totally removed this table before, and what I did was I took the contents of this table, this cell right here, and copied them, and then came here after the table and hit, that gave me a new blank row. I'm gonna hit enter right there, and then I pasted right there. And so I have now that stuff at the top, and then I just deleted that picture. I don't really need the picture. It's kind of cool looking, but it's not necessary. So I'm going to delete that table altogether, and now this is what my syllabus looks like. It's much cleaner. It's much easier for the screen reader to read because it's just text. It's not laid out in some funky, weird way. So the reason to use a table, let's come on down here. Here, I don't use a Word table for this. I've actually inserted a Excel spreadsheet here. But you can see in this table, if it was just a Word table, it would be a 1, 2, 3, 4 column table by 10, 12 rows or whatever. And the data is meant to be laid out in a table like this, so each cell is needed. It's necessary. I'm not using the table to lay out my page and to make my page look cool, unlike what I've done down here in the course materials. Here's another 2-column table by several rows. It's all my course materials, and the purpose of this table is to make the page look cool. In fact, so if I go to my table tools design and turn off view grid lines, you can see that looks pretty cool, right? I mean, so, but however, using the table for layout like this is not recommended. So what I've done is just like since I've fixed this syllabus, I've taken all this content out of the table, just like I did at the very top here, and took the contents of the table and just put it in regular paragraphs. So, and it's much cleaner. I think, the pictures are here. So I took the picture and I cut it and I pasted it right there. And then I took the contents of this cell here, and that's one big cell down to here, and I cut the contents of that cell, and I just hit enter there and pasted. So now I have the picture right there above the actual the text that it's describing, right? So this picture goes with, I use the page layout stuff to kind of spread it out a little. So I hope this is helping you. Again, I'm kind of going through this fast, but if you have any questions, you're always welcome to stop by the e-learning center in the library, or send us a message at elearning@bellevuecollege.edu, or call us at 4210. Then there's one more thing. In fact, I'm not even going to get into the PDF stuff. Generally, when you export and save your Word document as a PDF, the accessibility stuff will be saved with it. There are a few exceptions. If you need to save your document as a PDF, go ahead and try it, and then we'll have to do a different workshop on PDF accessibility. It's a slightly different animal. So finally, one more thing. I considered putting this at the very beginning of my workshop right here, was to use Word's built-in accessibility checker. On a Windows PC, that's in the File menu, the Check for Issues button, and then Check Accessibility. If you're on a Mac, it's under the Tools menu. So I'm going to do that on my syllabus here. So I'm going to go to File, Check for Issues right here, and then Check Accessibility. And what that does is it brings up another pane over here on the right, and there are a few errors and a few warnings and a few tips. Errors are the main problem. So for instance here, this picture does not have alt text. Here's the why fix and how to fix. So again, to how to fix that, right click on the picture, go to Format Picture, go to the little Layout and Properties button, and then make sure that you have something either in the title or in the description. So this is the access code for my IT lab. That's what that is. And when I fix that, notice that goes away. That error is no longer there. So I'll click on picture 8, and I need to do again the same thing to this one. This is the back side of access code for my IT lab. Okay, and once I do that, then again that error goes away. So you kind of want to make your way through this list, and There's something here's another one. The biggest chunk of warnings I have is these unclear hypertext links. So to be clear about this is the problem with that is that when screen readers read a hyperlink, it's going to read it just literally http://bc.instructure.com. And so what you need to do is you need to make sure that you have a good description connected to the URL. So what I've done here is I've said, besides my IT lab and the textbook, most course material is located on our class website in Canvas, which is located here. So what this is saying is that this URL that's following is Canvas. That's the Canvas location. That's okay. You can do that. The other choice would be to select, say, that word Canvas right there, and then right click and do hyperlink, and then type in your address here, which would be http ://bc.instructure.com. And if you do that, then that word itself becomes the link, and the hypertext, the screen reader will read it as such. I think it will say our class website on Canvas, and it'll say that Canvas is a hyperlink. And so that would be a choice for them to click on, So I don't do that though when I'm, I could do that, but I always print out the actual URL as well, in case a student prints out this syllabus to paper. If they only had, the word Canvas was a hyperlink, they wouldn't know what the actual URL was, what the actual address was. So I think it's important to have both. You want to have good description. You want to put the hyperlink itself, and then also a good description of what will happen when they click on that hyperlink. Okay. And the other things here, there's a heading is too long. I totally don't agree with that. So some of these, especially the warnings are judgment calls. I just don't think that that's too long. And then the last table thing, the tips here are the table. You want to make sure that it's the table in here. It's what it's saying here is check the reading order. The screen reader is not going to know how to read the contents of this table. It's just going to do its best, but sometimes that's not going to be how you want it to be read. So again, don't use the rule is don't use tables for layout purposes. Use tables for tabular data like this. Okay. So that's all I have for you. I hope this helps. Again, if you have any questions about accessibility in Word, you can talk to me. I'm Keith Rowley. Send me a message. You can ask for me at the eLearning Center, 4210. Stop by and see me. Most of us here at eLearning know this stuff already and can help you anyway. So I hope this helps, and I'll talk to you later.